I have a piece of lightweight fusible interfacing, and this piece is 12 inches by 10. This is going to be my foundation fabric. Make sure that you have the bobbly side facing up. You don't want to make a mess on your iron. Lay your fabric down. I like to use small pieces and block them. This gives me a lot more detail when I come to sew the fabric down and gives you a chance to use up those small crumb scraps. I'm going to sew down all the edges using a regular zigzag stitch. I'm going to lock stitch first somewhere in the middle and just carry on from there. I want to cut out 2 pieces of this new fabric, 9.5 inches by 4.25 inches. I have some scrap jeans left over from a previous project and I only want a small piece, so I've removed the pocket from the back and I'm using that piece underneath. Sew the fabric to the denim right sides together, one on each of the long sides. Press the seams open. I'm using this Pellon foam flex and I've cut it slightly bigger than my fabric, and then I have a piece of lining underneath that's also bigger. I'm laying the lining down, right sides facing down, the foam, and then the upper fabric right sides facing up. I'm drawing a 1-inch diagonal grid across the denim only. Here I've decided to sew randomly over the Scrappy fabric. I'm not sewing over all the seams, I just want to do a bit of quilting. I have a piece of lining fabric, outer denim and fusible fleece. Find the centre of the fusible fleece and mark the centre. I want to draw a 10-inch by 1/2 inch rectangle centralised in the fleece. So measure 1.5 inches up and draw a 10-inch line, and then draw a 10-inch line 1/2 inch above this one. Neatly cut out that rectangle. Press that onto the back of the outside fabric. Make sure that you have the fusible side down. Give it a good press. Now lay the outer fabric and the lining fabric right sides together and pin that down. Sew around the inside of that rectangle. Draw a line down the centre of the rectangle stopping 1/4 of an inch from the end, and draw the corners out to the end of the line. This is our cutting line. Cut along the line, making sure that you snip right into the corners, but don't cut the stitches. If you do, it's not a problem, you can stitch over them afterwards. Give the seams a good press. This will help turning the fabric through to the right sides. Pull the fabric through to the back and then give it a really good press all around those corners. You want it nice and neat. Lay the fabric over the zipper, both right sides facing up. Top stitch all the way around the zipper. Fold the fabric in half and mark the centres. Here I have a 2-inch circle and I'm just rounding off the corners. I have a piece of paper that is 3 inches by 2 inches. Fold it in half to find the centre. Mark 1/2 inch either side of that centre mark and now draw up to the corners, one on either side. Now draw 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on the inside of those 2 drawn lines and across the bottom. Now measure up 1 3/4 inches from the bottom edge and place a mark, and I just want to curve off this top edge. So that's my template, now cut that out. Now take a whole bunch of small scraps. You want 20 in total. You can use all the teeny tiny bits that you wouldn't use for other things. And give them all a good press. Draw around the template on the back of each piece of fabric using a fabric marker and cut out along that drawn line. Repeat that for all of the fabric. Sew the pieces with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Start off in pairs and then we'll end up sewing all of the 20 pieces together to create a circle. Press all of the seams open. Take a piece of muslin and lay the fabric right side facing down, and now we're going to sew all around the outside edge only. Cut the muslin around the outside edge. Snip into the corners of the seams without cutting the stitches. Trim back the seam allowance to about 1/8 of an inch and repeat that for all of the petals. Flip the fabric right sides facing out and poke out all the corners. Give that a good press. I'm using strong thread and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch in around the circle centre all the way around. What I'm doing is going in and coming back up using big stitches, going through both of the layers. You need to use a thick strong thread because when we gather it at the end you don't want it to snap. Cut out the centre circle of the muslin only. And now gather up the thread ends, pull them until the centre is tightly together and then tie off to secure. I've made a 2-inch wide piece of bias binding to match the lining fabric. Lay that right sides facing together all the way around the outside edge and clip it down. Sew that down using 3/8 inch seam allowance. Mark all 4 sides centres of both pieces of fabric. I have a piece of outer fabric 2.5 inches by 1 1/4, folding it half lengthways, open it out and then fold the raw edges in half and press again. We're going to create a tab. I have this keyring. I'm going to lay the tab through the keyring, matching both of the raw ends together in the centre. Pin it down here, top stitch the tab down. This will hide all the raw edges underneath. Join the fabrics together, matching the centre marks. Start off with the short ends in the centre of the denim fabric and clip that down. Make sure that the zip is open and now match the centre marks on the outside edges and clip all the way around. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance all the way around the binding. Make sure that you keep your zipper open. Pull the bias out flat to the right side. And now we fold it in and fold it over, basically double folding the raw edges in. Clip that down over all the raw edges all the way around. Sew that all the way around, making sure that we catch all of the edges. Flip the pouch right sides out and check all of your seams. I'm going to hot glue the embellishment onto the bag. It gives it a bit of a 3D effect. I have this button and it looks like a flower. I'm going to glue that to the centre of the fabric flower. And it's all done. I hope you enjoy. This is such a cute little pouch. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all of the above. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I can continue making these videos for you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.